the whole entire blockchain ledger in a distributed manner from all the peers in the network. And so, as you're downloading, it takes a long time. So don't expect to watch Netflix unless you got like 100 megabits connection, because it's like a 16 megabyte or excuse me, gigabyte blockchain at this point or greater. This is the Genesis block right here. Satoshi created this Genesis block. This is the basis for the SHA-256 squared. This cannot be spent. This is the original first 50 coins, the first transaction. The system would probably it won't function if they actually spend this block. So this is actually says the times. This is the actual message whenever the Coinbase parameter when you decode it says the times 03 January 2009 Chancellor on the brink of second bailout of banks. So that's his impetus for creating cryptocurrency. All right, let's go down. Transactions. Okay, you can break down in denominations of Bitcoin to the 1/100 millionth. So you don't have a problem with not having exact change with that type of scheme. So basically, anytime you have a transaction, it references previous transactions where you've accumulated greater than or equal to the sent amount that you expect to send. For example, a transaction of 3.5 BTC would reference a previous 2 transactions where you received 1 BTC and 3 BTC separately. Those 2 previous transactions become the basis input for the BTC you are sending. Then the remainder, 0.5 BTC, will actually be automatically issued back to you in a new transaction. Go down. Okay, mining. Mining is the process by which the network validates the transactions against the blockchain. So the real reward with mining is, of course, to get the Bitcoins. But the miners serve a very useful purpose in the network because they validate the blockchain. They're there making sure that all these transactions come in and they get verified, and you have to have a certain number of verifications in order for your transaction to actually be assigned to the blockchain. Your transaction won't go into the blockchain immediately. It takes about 8 minutes for it to actually get validated. Okay, the distributed nature. This is the major thing that's a real enabler for people across the world, because it doesn't matter if you live in New York City or if you live in Corundu, Panama, or wherever you live. As long as you have internet access, you can actually interact with the blockchain's distributed nature. There's actually a wireless service in Finland that was created to specifically allow the people to do the Bitcoin transactions wirelessly using some antiquated television station frequencies. So, like I said, this allows for transaction to occur from anywhere in the world. I wanted to discuss the Bitcoin Foundation. What's up?
With that wireless concept, is it like over the air?
Yeah, it's over the air. I mean, I don't have the specifics of it right now.
I think it's wireless.
Yeah. So, does anybody? One thing that I was kind of wanting to discuss was the Bitcoin Foundation. If anyone has any kind of questions about Bitcoin Foundation, we could try and discuss that. But if not, no biggie. But my thing is, I just have a rant about it because basically you got individuals who are leaving the Bitcoin Foundation because it's not really aligning with the original vision of Bitcoin, and then you got people who come in with all this money and essentially buy their way into the system, and it's really not the way it was intended to be. So that's a rant I have with that. All right, let's go to the next slide. All right, profitability. Now, this is old. This is from a couple months ago. That's when I did this. But the right now Bitcoin was at $346 earlier. Okay, but it was $600 a couple of months ago. But my expectation is that since Bitcoin is a finite resource, an actual finite resource that is backed by mathematics, you can't make more Bitcoins than exist in the system. There's an actual finite maximum amount that'll be reached.
22 billion.
Yeah, like 21 million Bitcoins in like 100 years from now. So as we keep producing more Bitcoins, what happens is the reward keeps halving. So it used to be that you would get 50 Bitcoins every time you solve the block. If your cryptographic hash was the most complex, you would be chosen by the network to be the receiver of that block and the reward. So basically that's as I was saying, the diminishing returns for the reward are what's going to actually drive. We get 25 coins per reward, but I think in like less than 2 years, where it's actually going to be 12.5 coins per block solution. So as the amount of reward keeps diminishing, it's going to be harder to get coins. It'll increase the value, and that's probably going to be a driver to make the price skyrocket. Only problem I see right now is the profitability is the whales in the network. There's like 950 individuals who own the majority of Bitcoins. Okay, and they're out there. They have automated trading bots just annihilating the network. In some cases, there was a week where one user had actually traded 27,000 of his own Bitcoins. Okay, and that had a profound effect on the network. It brought it down from like the $400 range down to the $200 range, and as he's doing this, it's going back up 350, 300, 350, 300, and it just keeps going up and down. And so there's whales in the network that can have like a contrived pump and dump type scheme. And with these pump and dump schemes, people can get you're going to win, but you're going to lose. So the guys with the coins are essentially the whales calling the shots sometimes. All right, can we go to the next slide?
No.
Wild West, exactly like I'm talking about. Fortunes will be won and lost. Your experience in the world of cryptocurrency will have its ups and downs with every pump and dump, coin heist, etc. So let's go down. Sobering moments. You might think you're on the path to glory. However, as you're passing from the Midwest into the full-blown West, your party might get ambushed by a bunch of pre-existing settlers, the whales, and as well as others convinced that you're out there to take their promised land or resources. Let's go down. So here's just an example of, boom, big heist. NXT, okay. NXT is an asset exchange system. I actually was on crypto stocks. What's the site, cryptostocks.net or? Okay, cryptostocks.net, right? I was on there. I was trading Litecoins on there. Boom! I bought some good, what I thought was good stock. But then they're like, "Oh, we're shutting down. There's not going to be any more dividends. Blah blah. You got to get on NXT." So I go and get on NXT, but I didn't really get my resources yet. My whatever they call it, their share value thing. But just like a week or two afterwards, these hackers went and made off with 51 million NXT. Okay, so basically down here it's saying that the NXT team members are already deciding on what actions to take. In this discussion thread, they are debating on whether to forge a new blockchain that would remove the transaction. Okay, so forging a new blockchain is a really profound thing. You heard of people forking the blocks, okay, blockchains, right? Well, that means that they have to switch to a whole new blockchain. You still have the old blockchain exists, but only people who are trading with the old blockchain will still be using those coins, but everything that actually was in the old blockchain transfers over to the new one, but anything that was done in the new one will not be reflected in the old blockchain. So that's kind of a weird thing there. That's something that's frowned upon in the network. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Okay, so here's some stellar links. I was calling them, stellar links. Basically, you can order now from Tiger Direct, your Bitcoins, Dell, Dish Network, Overstock.com. There's a whole bunch of them out there to actually make purchases. You can actually buy precious metals online with Bitcoin, Dogcoin, Litecoin, Feathercoin, Prime Coin, all kinds of coins. There's certain markets that you can go to online that have a accepted amount of cryptocurrencies that they'll take. So they'll take Max Coin and like 20 other coins, and then you can use those to trade for the assets that they're selling. So it's actually it's an expanding system. More and more vendors are coming online with it, and I expect to be buying my pizza here pretty soon with Bitcoin. All right, so this is I wanted to put more, but that's what I got. Is there any questions?
What's fastmoney.com?
That was something I was going to make, but I was trying to think. All right, so
I got a question.
Yeah.
So what is the reception of like IRS and federal government?
Okay, so the thing is there's certain tax liabilities that you're going to have if you're trading Bitcoin at this point. All right, just like anything, if you make $100 off of something, you know, you're not really too worried about it. But if you make $6,000 off of it, you got to report it. So you're of the same mindset. But here's the thing, you know, Bitcoin is a huge write-off essentially if it goes wrong for you. So you could say, yeah, I mined these coins. They had this value here when I mined them, but then they depreciated by 50%. So I took a loss because I had to write off my electricity. I had to, write off other expenses involved in it. And so you essentially are going to take a loss on that. But you can get into serious trouble if you're arbitrating, or you're the middleman for a bunch like a Bitcoin Ponzi scheme, like an investment scheme. You can get into trouble with that. There's a guy recently in Texas. He I think he had $4 million worth of Bitcoins, and he was an investor for these Bitcoins, and so the Texas law enforcement went and got him just recently. That was actually on Y Combinator this morning. That's the thing with Bitcoin. As long as you're not doing gigantic transactions in a large volume, you're really going to fly under the radar. But it does have like legal tax implications. I mean, if you go and try to sell $100,000 worth of Bitcoin to somebody, well, you better think twice, because that person you're going to sell them to is probably a Fed. So you won't and it's also you have a money exchanger's license or something like that to do it, I believe.
Yeah. So long story short is, don't trade your crypto for cash.
Yeah, trade your cryptocurrency for assets.
IRS owns a property like real
Yeah.
estate or something.
And then eventually you can buy money orders with your crypto, and that's how you get your cash.
You could take a
debit card. You can link debit cards to it.
Yeah.
So
I got a question for you.
okay.
So in the past, when I tried mining, the cores weren't understood to mine as the ATI equivalent.
Okay.
Is that still the case?
Okay, so you're talking about using the CPU in the computer?
GPU, yes.
Okay, so you're saying so basically the ATI cards, the reason that they had better capacity for Bitcoin miners because they have more stream processors. Okay, and these stream processors perform the SHA-256 squared algorithm massively in parallel. The NVIDIA cards is probably what you're talking about, right? NVIDIA, okay. So the NVIDIA cards, they didn't really focus on the amount of streaming processors, and they're doing it now. They're trying to play catch up. But the game was already the game's over for that. The game is so over. So a year ago, right now, the Bitcoin difficulty was at 900 million. Okay, it's at like 40 billion right now. All right, so the problem is that you basically had a chance every 1 in 900 million hashes, or every 900 million hashes you did, you had the possibility of solving the block. But now it's every 400 billion hashes you do, you might solve the block. You might solve the block. So
Is it even worth mining anymore?
the advice at this point has been the same forever. So the advice was always, it's not worth your electricity to mine it. Don't mine that, and then the price explodes.
You have to have miners in order for the cryptos to work, so somebody has to mine it.
Exactly.
Oh, absolutely. You
Whales
got
are mining, right?
Huh?
Aren't the big whales mining?
There's large companies out there, organizations that are mining. There's actually Central Washington has actually been a place that's found notice, and they're setting up megawatt facilities out there. The thing is that I don't like to dissuade people from mining, because the mindset has always been there that it's not worth the electricity, it's not worth it. But really, if you mine Bitcoin and say you got a Bitcoin, and then all of a sudden you stop mining years later or whatever, but Bitcoin blows up to $10,000 of Bitcoin. All right, well, it was worth it for you to mine it at that point. So it's really it comes down to what your goals are. Like, you can't mine and make the money right now. You cannot, you can do it. You can pay your electricity bill with your reward if you're doing good, but
you shouldn't spend it. You mine it and hold it.
You're supposed to mine it and hold it, not mine and
mine other coins and trade into Bitcoin and get it faster.
And that's another thing. You can actually you can go ahead and see which there's logic out there on like CoinWars.net and CoinMarketCap.com. That'll show you what the reward is and the difficulty. So if the difficulty is really low and the reward starts to get high, there's going to be a lot of people looking at it, and they're going to want to mine it. But if you get in there really quick, you can make your $20. That's my thing. I've seen, like, if you get in on something as soon as it's happening, you'll make some money. But if you wait a day, you might not get anything. That's the thing. You're got to be up at 2 a.m. when that coin launches, you know, and you're going to be like, okay, I compiled, you know, Cal Ross Miner, and I'm ready to do SHA
Making fun of it
512.
like you never did it. Like, we know you were up at like 2.
Oh, yeah, no, I've been up at...
He's saying that's exactly what he was doing.
That's what
Yeah,
it looks
no,
like.
I've done it. I mean, I've done, you know, compiling software from source, modifying the software, make it work, you know, and I was actually, when MaxCoin launched, I was the 20th most powerful miner on the network. Because I had gotten my GPUs to function with it ahead of everybody else while they're all screaming and crying on IRC. This sucks. You know, like, this thing's horrible, you know.
Like, shut up, skinny.
But yeah, no, I got some screenshots where I'm like, yeah, that's my wallet code right there, number 20. So
How much being number 20? What would that mean financially?
for that, I think I made like $200 worth of coins that day. Now, my position didn't last very long, so I gave away like almost all those coins. Just gave them away. But because I wasn't really in the cryptocurrency until recently to try and, you know, make money with it. As of recently, I'm like, oh man, I got to get some coins before the market explodes. So, you know, the thing is that the unbanked people in the world, they don't have bank account. They can't go online with their Visa card and order this toy for their child. So what they want to do is they got access to something called Bitcoin, and these websites they'll sell me the toy that I want, you know, with Bitcoin, and I don't have to have a bank account. I could just use that. And so those are the people that are going to start adopting it.
Yeah, but then they gotta wait 8 days to get their Bitcoin or whatever.
Well, the transaction takes like 8 minutes to validate, but you know, there's some cryptocurrencies out there that have a faster block solution time. So, for example, with MaxCoin, you know, it takes like 2 minutes or 30 seconds actually. It's 30 seconds for MaxCoin to solve your block. All right, so let's go into. Y'all want to? Is there any more questions? All right.
You were saying earlier that you think it's going to go up.
Yes.
Because the difficulty is going to go up.
No, I'm saying that the thing is that the price is going to go up because of Black Friday, the holiday season. Last year, at the beginning of December, is when it hit that $1,100 range.
If you look at it, the tie between currencies is only built by the selling of hardware. So the currency price is only derived from the selling of hardware.
Well, the currency price is derived based upon what someone is willing to pay for. It's my experience. So if somebody's willing to pay $350 for a Bitcoin, that's what. All right, let's go to Bitcoin. Is it BitcoinTicker.co?
Bitcoin Wisdom.
But because nobody's buying hardware anymore, because nobody cares anymore, the
BTC.
price is going down because nobody's buying hardware.
Well, there has been a
lot of selling.
BTC.org. BTC.
That's another site, but there's a coin ticker site out there that'll show you exactly all the orders. So what you have to do to figure out what the price is doing is to see what's the asking price and what's the bid that somebody is willing to pay for it. And they are simultaneously happening. You see the volume and everything, and that's how you can determine if there's a whale manipulating the market, and you don't want to play in that. But when you see the price go down to like $300, it's really it's an impetus for me to want to buy it. You know.
What about like being like a stock trader for Bitcoin? Just going and buying and selling.
Yeah, you can run
Exchange
meta trade.
Yeah, there's people that do that.
If making money.
If you have $10,000 worth of Bitcoins, you can go in there and make Satoshis by riding the market. So
buying and selling.
Exchange eats all of your profit.
You can do currency trading too, like currency pairs,
Make
like
your own
Bitcoin
exchange.
and Litecoin,
oh yes, and you can.
margins and stuff.
Cryptsy, like I was mentioning Cryptsy earlier because they're over here in Florida in Delray, and I think that I don't know if anybody know. Does anybody know how many cryptocurrencies that Cryptsy supports?
I'll just get
It's dozens of cryptocurrencies. So you can go right on there, boom, deposit your coins, and then immediately trade for Satoshis if that's what you're trying to get. So there's a lot of exchanges on there. I just happen to favor Cryptsy because I think that they have the best interface in my opinion.
Go to shapeshift.io. Have you seen this yet?
Yeah, I don't think it'd be that hard.
See how you type it out?
Shape. Shift.
Go ahead.
No.
You can
Do all the
Are you going to show us the hardware?
The whole exchange.
Yeah.
You can
Well, it's all
download the source for the
Does anybody have any questions about any other cryptocurrencies? Darkcoin, Litecoin, Feathercoin, Maxcoin, anything like that?
Oh, what's that one coin? HackMiami coin or?
Yeah, HackMiami. Oh, I got one. I got some Def coin.
Oh yeah, we got them from DEFCON.
DEFCON coins.
I got like
the way that this works is, you got your this is your public key here. Okay, it's got the key, the digits up here, and then behind the sticker, wrapped up behind it is the private key that you use to do a transaction with. So you have to have that private key that's folded up in there in order to make a transaction. Yeah, this is an example of a paper wallet right here. Def coin from DEFCON. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think there's like what 10,000 of them.
I think it's 100. Oh, this one's 100.
100 or something. Yeah, I
100
got
Def coins.
like a bunch of those.
So
You can't do nothing with them.
if everybody were to actually adopt
I just made 100 coins.
There's not a lot of Bitcoins. There's only like
How many
13
are
million Bitcoins. So
Right.
there's not enough Bitcoin for every person in the world.
because the blockchain is the way it's built. If everybody in
Oh, yeah?
wanted to take all their transactions today and just start doing
Oh,
Bitcoin
let me
instead of
get a
dollars, Bitcoin would fail instantly.
The network itself
Cool.
is constantly trying
One day.
to
Right. But
match
what,
up to
what
the
I'm saying is that the Bitcoin blockchain is so large already,
right.
and if you took all the transactions we did now and put those transactions in the blockchain would get so large that it would exceed the amount of total internet access that the entire world has.
Yeah, this is a problem that's been brought up before. So, like with SatoshiDice.com, for example, that was like an online coin faucet gambling page that you could go and put coins in, spin the dice, and then throw the dice and see what happens. Okay, so what that did was that actually was a huge benchmark for the network because it produced a lot of transactions. There was people on there doing like 10 transactions in a minute or more, and the network was barely able to handle it. So now you got all these. You need more super nodes on the network to be able to handle more transactions. But due to the distributed nature, and of course the as these transceivers they go up in bandwidth. So before we were using 10 meg transceivers, and now we're using 40 gigabit and 100 gigabit transceiver. So we don't have to. I don't think we're in too bad a shape with that.
But is there anything in place for this coin, for Bitcoin, that actually will reduce the size of the blockchain?
Oh, okay. That issue right there is profound. Okay, so you don't want to have a copy of the entire blockchain on your phone. I mean, that's cumbersome. You're gonna fill your phone up really fast. There's apps out there that use a technique that references remotely the blockchain or something like that, but it basically doesn't force every user to have an entire copy of the blockchain on their device. So there's a really good app out there I wanted to put in there. You got a question?
Well, that's in reference to your wallet. Like if you wanted to host your own wallet, you have to have a copy of the blockchain.
Yeah, if you want to be a super node, you have to have a copy of the blockchain. If you want the Bitcoin, the actual wallet client, it has to have the whole blockchain in order to make a transaction.
I guess what I'm saying is like, so the blockchain goes up like a gig every month.
Oh yeah, it's going up.
That's like going up like 10% every 2 months or something like that. So within the next 4 or 5 years, it's going to be so large that it will take you weeks to months.
Yeah, somebody's going to have to run map reduce on that thing or something. But yeah,
it's like I just think
need every
Bitcoin's gonna die
transaction
because you can't download you can't features.
Okay, so that's something. I mean, that's not a problem right now. But yeah, as the blockchain grows in size, it's very difficult to work with. A client that I could suggest for everyone who wants to have Bitcoin on their phone and wants to be able to scan in a paper wallet and make transactions with it, it's called Mycelium. Mycelium is a really good app. It lets you take pictures of the QR code. You can have a wallet on there, but I just use paper wallets when I use Mycelium. I just scan my wallet in, make my transaction, and clear the memory.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, I also hope that we don't have to cease dates on our phones by 5 years from now.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like,
no. What I'm saying is the transfer rates to actually get the blockchain to your phone. The last time I tried to do it, I have low bandwidth at my house. So it took me 2.5 months to download the blockchain.
Well, that too. I wonder if the
that's. I mean, even if I were to get get high speed cable internet, it's I did that in about a week. But soon, it's going to be so large that nobody's going to be able to get in.
What is the blockchain reset? Why doesn't it purge?
Well, it's a giant ledger. So the ledger has it actually knows every transaction that occurred in it, and it knows exactly the balance of every wallet in the system. So it's basically the giant database of transactions, and that's how it determines your wallet value.
But can't the transaction history get merged and just the account balances?
It references.
You have to have the blockchain intact in order to maintain the system. But there are services out there that, a lot like Mycelium, for example, you don't have to have the entire blockchain on your phone to issue a transaction. So when you go to issue the transaction, say, oh, okay, well, this is the up-to-date state of the network, but those are good. Those are really good. I can't remember how many stream processors they have, but they have above 1,000 processors. Yeah.
I get more hashes by my 7970s.
Oh, yeah.
10 times, and the times cost big times more.
Okay, so the another thing that's really, depending on the coin that you're mining, so you were mining Litecoin with that? Okay, so the reason that the AMD cards are working better also is that they have a wider memory bit bus. So script mining for Litecoin and Dogcoin is memory intensive. Work that you've done so, you know, when you have more memory bus, you can actually. Right.
1 second, I'm trying to find Alex on Skype.
Okay. All right. Well, that's your rig, man. I'll explain. I mean, I can explain.
7950s on an MSI board.
1 second, Brent.
600 kilohash second each with script, 600 mega hash per piece with SHA.
All
Can
right.
you actually make any money with that? That's what I'm saying. Can you actually make any money?
Yeah, sure. You can make dollars a day with that.
You could mine Darkcoin with this and do decent. ASICs they're harder to get because they actually have to go out and design and tape in, tape out, changing your strategy every 30 minutes. What is 180 billion hashes per second, right? These come with like a little TP-Link router on them, and they run OpenWRT. You really don't need much of a computer to Bitcoin mine when when it comes to running the actual mining software. So, but what it does essentially is it offloads to these application-specific integrated circuits that perform the SHA 256 squared hashing function. So let's get the other one out here. Right, here's a monster. Which one is this? This is S3? S2? Okay. No, this one's different. This one's 400. Yeah, this one's very new.
Oh, it's a new one?
This one's 480 billion hashes per second. When we went to take them apart, they're so well, covered up and shielded now. It's not worth it, but.
4 terahashes?
Huh?
4 terahashes?
No, this one right here is about half a terahash.
Oh, right.
About half a terahash right here. You can overclock them. These systems can be overclocked or undervolted. Typically, what people are doing is they're undervolting these right here and taking them down to about 120 billion hashes per second to get the 1 watt per gigahash power consumption. But these are really good. What's crazy is like a month ago, I was over in Naples, and somebody referred me to go set up some Bitcoin mining equipment. Right, this guy had Avalon ASICs from 8 months ago that he couldn't figure out how to get them all configured and everything. And I was like, I figured it up for him. I was like, dude, you don't have enough power for this in your house. Like, I'm like looking at his setup, like, nah, dude. And like the very next day, he's like, oh man, I blew out my wall outlet or whatever, And I'm like, oh, sorry, man, I'm in Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, these are nice right here. These are really good.
What's the small one inside the white box?
Okay, this looks like this is the Butterfly Labs. Which one is this? The Butterfly Labs?
Oh, yeah, it's a 300 gigahash.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's early.
Show us the name.
It's a box.
They'll plug it in.
Hey, Cedric, how much do one of those go for?
$2.
$400, $500?
Yeah, right about now about $4.
Okay.
2 Bitcoin. 1.9.
300 gigahash. Gen 1.
Wait, that's the
So,
Just Windows.
so has anyone in here heard about Butterfly Labs? Okay, Butterfly Labs is notorious at this point.
They
So
FTC sees their.
yeah, this is what's sad. I was like, all right, I'm gonna get that Butterfly Labs 600 billion hashes per second PCI Express card, right? I was like, oh, that's what I want, and it was like $2,200. I ordered it just under a year ago. Okay, and what ended up happening is they keep saying, oh, we're having problems, we can't deliver, you know. And by July, I'm like, I need a refund. I can't wait anymore. And so they're like, oh, we got a refund coming. And then I was like, here's my Bitcoin wallet address. I want Bitcoins. And then they're like, all right, we're scheduled to give you your Bitcoin or your refund for your Butterfly Labs miner on the 26th of September, right? And I was like, yes, they gave me a date. Oh, right, this never happened before. And Ars Technica launches an article rated by the feds. Butterfly Labs, you know, they're basically, they have somebody overseeing the company now, you know. And, yeah, so I'm like, oh, I'll never get my refund. Huh?
They're still trying to pay everybody back.
Yeah, so here's the thing. If you ordered your Butterfly Labs equipment with PayPal froze their assets and made them refund everybody. So PayPal really did step up for the purchasers at that point, you know, to protect it. Whereas if you were like me and did like ACH money transfer, you're screwed. So don't do that.
This is 60 gigahertz, sorry.
Yeah, that's just
69.
This was a beast. This was a beast right here.
Is anybody mining right now?
What do you mean?
Is
Yeah,
anybody
there's people
mine at the
mining.
moment?
No, all their mining equipment's right there.
Like,
Yeah.
did anybody mine yesterday?
Yeah.
With what?
He's losing money right now.
Yeah,
This-
losing
Yeah,
money with
man.
all of it. Yeah, to show you.
Darkcoin did.
But none of these boxes make money.
Well,
not directly Bitcoin, very little.
if you
none
have,
of this equipment is fast enough to produce money at the moment.
if you
That's
have,
not
okay,
true.
so this equipment right here, if
That's
you
not
had,
But
if you had 4 of these, you'll make money. You just need 4 of these, you'll make money.
You just need what, $4,000?
well, can we just like throw it?
$2,000 worth.
Like drop it on the ground?
Maybe a little bit less. You'll make money. But this one right here, you're not going to make much money, but this would be really good for Maza coin or any other kind of coin that might have a future. Okay, some coins all of a sudden they blow up. I don't know if anyone in here remembers Aurora coin. Okay, Aurora coin was supposedly going to be the official currency of Iceland or something weird, right? And
It blew up.
yeah, and so it's like, we're going to issue Aurora coin to every citizen of Iceland. We got the wallets, we're ready to go, you know, blah, blah, blah. And so they launched the coin, right? If you were on the launch with Aurora coin, that coin shot up to $91 a piece, okay? And I know an individual here in South Florida that actually, like, banked off that. They made $3,000 off it because they were on it right away. That's the thing about this. It's an extreme strategy. You know, you have to be constantly looking at the market, seeing where it's going, and then watching like the altcoin herald to see which coins are scheduled to make a launch. Now, a lot of coins when they make a launch, it's a flop. You know, they'll have to do a re-release. You know, most of the time. So, but if you manage to get it on a coin that you can make function and there's actual traction behind it, like somebody on TV or whatever, you can make some money. So, you know, like I said, you just got to be paying attention and change your strategy constantly.
Right. It's like mining precious metals.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, silver's undervalued right now, so I would just take those coins and go buy silver coins take your Bitcoins and buy silver coins. Take your dog coin, feather coin. Does anybody have dog coin? Dog coin was a really good one. The problem is hyperinflation, right?
Yeah, it sucks.
It's hyperinflated, but
You want to know the only way I found to make money with any coin at all? I started a casino.
there you go. You can make your own coin faucet. But Dogcoin actually had their community is really what is behind Dogcoin. So you have all these people that will get behind some kind of mission like the race car. I don't know if y'all remember the dog NASCAR. So they actually put $50,000. They got $50,000 of Dogcoin donations from just the community, and they paid to have these guys brand their race car. And I would the guy get 20th place or something. Yeah, he wasn't that great, but you know, they still mentioned like, oh, this is the dog car. You know, like on TV, I was like, yeah. So in the future,
Like
you know,
nerds watching NASCAR.
just to summarize, where I think this is going. mathematics in the system will actually make everybody tell the truth. Okay, so in the future, it's like when you have a company, you can program the logic into, say, a sidechain coin that pays dividends automatically to the people that are contracted into that sidechain. So therefore, you know that as long as the money's coming into that system, that you're going to get paid dividends from it. So basically, in the future, they're not going to rely on the trust from people. They're going to rely on the trust from the mathematics to pay them. That's essentially where it's all going to go. Are going to all be in side chains. Businesses are going to be built right into the side chain coins. So that's essentially what's going to happen in the future. The cryptocurrency industry is up and coming, and it's not going anywhere. I mean, it's just going to grow. It's just going to grow. I know it will because it's profound, and the blockchain ledger is a tremendous invention.
It was a distraction.
It's a distraction from the bank bailout, right?
It's a distraction, but now it's done.
Nah, they ain't done yet.
It's not even. It doesn't give you anything that it promised to give you.
Well, Bitcoin doesn't really promise you anything, though, in my opinion.
It promised get rid of the banks. Okay, sort of.
But that's impossible. I mean, you're going to always. I could be a bank. You could be a bank.
But the whales become a bank. So eventually.
That's the scary part. The whales are scary.
But the other idea of this whole thing was anonymity, and you don't have that.
But the thing,
it's all because the blockchain screws the entire system. So you can't even do this unless you get rid of the blockchain.
Well, that kind of mindset is more for dark coin. That's the anticipation for users of dark coin. But Bitcoin is really for transparency. In all actuality, the transparency is there for you to see exactly if someone promises you a certain amount of money, you can check. Well, hey, I see that you do have that. Let's go ahead and proceed. That's the real invention with Bitcoin is the blockchain ledger. I mean, I think it's a tremendous invention. The anonymity portion of it, you can still maintain anonymity to an extent because there's more. Okay, what is it? There's 2 to the 255th potential Bitcoin wallet addresses, so you could make as many Bitcoin wallet addresses as you want, and you could have a Bitcoin address for every Satoshi.
That's fine as long as you never make a purchase.
So you have to basically somehow what they call like
you make your wallet the exact amount of that purchase. Sell that.
Then you make three wallets.
Exactly. Yeah. Well,
so one time you just throw it.
For the anonymity, for the anonymity portion,
transfer money into that wallet, so that money comes back to your main wallet, and you still get screwed.
I saw a graphic. It might actually be on the presentation, but there's a graphic that shows
face to face. Buy it from them. And
that's
into your wallet, and then you got a bunch of middlemen.
Yeah, the face-to-face transaction. I mean, it's kind of hard to.
I know there's some grocery stores that you can go there and use your Bitcoin.
Yeah, you can pay for your tuition in Cyprus, with Bitcoin. They accept it because they had such a hard time with the banks and their bailout and all that down there. They had a hard time, so they were adopting Bitcoin really rapidly, and you can buy things there with Bitcoin more readily than you can around here. I heard about that too. I can't remember exactly where it's at, but I would love to see.
House. It's in the front.
There's ways.
Yeah.
It's a
it looks like a mailbox.
When is anonymity not a pain in the ass?
Yeah.
They had one at the second.
I would like to see. Like, I wanted to approach Hard Rock Casino and be like, you know what y'all need? Bitcoin. Let me come and set y'all up, and. Because it's not hard. You can go there. Like, they have Bitcoin ATMs now that let little palm read on you. There's recently an article that I read that said that RoboCoin had to remove the anonymity function of their ATM because they couldn't track who was getting the money, and so they were getting in trouble for it. So there's going to be a push from whoever service you're using to try to identify you if they have to report back to you.
Patriot Act restrictions.
Yeah, I mean that has something to do with it too. It's more laws, but people got to pay their taxes. And that's really what it comes down to. They want to get paid. So. But I think that I really think that the cryptocurrency has a future. It's not going to go anywhere.
It only has a currency if a nation actually makes its own cryptocurrency.
Well, they tried that.
They
China was supposed to be their address for every one yen that they have. Whatever they have. China was supposed to be 1-to-1. And then when they released it, it was flopped.
Yeah, you can buy houses in China with Bitcoin. I mean, it costs 1,000 Bitcoins when I last looked at it to buy a house in China. So it has a lot of application. I mean, if you go online and look at some of the merchants out there, there's certain merchant sites. I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but they basically list the different types of cryptocurrencies they take, and they provide the merchant processing system for these websites to transact against that. So there's services out there that are making that readily available for vendors.
Sounds good.
Any questions? No more questions? All right. All right. Appreciate y'all. Thank you.